This video will briefly demonstrate how to use the fuel model flow chart when selecting fire behavior fuel models. The first thing you'll do is you'll select what your primary fire carrier is. Notice we have two main categories: the fuel models that have some live components and those that have dead fuels only. Sometimes you have more than one component on a site, and you'll pick one at a time to run through this process. Also notice that we've got this little star next to certain fuel models. That means they are dynamic, which means that their fire behavior will change as live fuel moisture values change. None of them are down here in dead fuels only because there's no live components in those fuel models. So let's say you pick your primary fire carrier. Your next question is whether it's a dry climate or a humid climate. Dry climates tend to happen in the west, and they are areas that when moisture goes up a little bit, fire behavior goes down quite a lot. Humid climates, on the other hand, when moisture goes up, their fire behavior remains. You might consider, if you're not sure which fuel models you are, you might consider both and look at the fuel models in each of those categories. The next question you're asked is whether the expected fire behavior is low, moderate, or high. This is a spectrum of how surface fire behavior can be. This does not include crown fire behavior. So think of the highest activity surface fire fuel model that you can imagine, probably in some type of a grass, and that's what high looks like. Notice how there's no grass fuel model in a low fire behavior category. That's because grass doesn't really have low fire behavior. So it's suggesting maybe look at an SH1. And then also look down here at the TL fuel models, the timber litter, and it's showing that there's no fuel models recommended for high fire behavior. That's because if you are selecting high fire behavior, you might not have a timber litter fuel model. Maybe look elsewhere. So it's important to read these little notes at the bottom to look at some of the exceptions for those fuel models. So let's say we have a grass fuel model. It's a dry climate. We expect moderate fire behavior. These three fuel models are where I might start my exploration. Not end here, but this is going to help me narrow down the beginning of my search for my fuel models. If I'm thinking that it's between moderate and high, I might include all of these different fuel models in those two categories as options as I continue my fuel model selection process.